So today is my grandma's birthday and she said she wanted to see me. I haven't seen her in a while, so I thought, okay, gotta go get ready. So today's video is just gonna be filled with a lot of drugstore items as well as some more expensive ones. A good mix like all of my tutorials. I'm gonna start off with a hydrating primer. This one's by ShopMissA. This one's their Aqua primer. I'm almost done with this and it's really good for hydration. I feel like this is a very similar feeling to the Smashbox primerizer, but it is a little bit more fragrance than that one. I do plan on wearing a mask today, so I want to do a more pore filling primer. Now I want to use up my NYX pore filling primer. This one is definitely a very similar texture to the Benefit Porefessional. I just feel like when you squeeze it out, it's a little bit more dry, but once you blend it into the skin, it feels the same. I know some people actually feel like these are not dupes. I think that they are, just because of the way my skin feels. I'm also in a rush today, so I'm gonna try and speed through this process. Also, because I'm wearing a mask, I just feel like no one's really gonna see my makeup. It's kind of just more for me than anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my ShopMissA Prowear foundation. I haven't used this one in a while. I have the shade Pure Beige, and I'm choosing this one because a lot of my foundations at the moment are really dark. So I think that this one is like one of the only foundations that actually will match me. Yeah. So typically with my foundation, I will dot it all over just to get an even distribution. And then with whatever is left on my hand, I kind of just scoop it up with my sponge and then I will blend in the foundation. As far as longevity, this foundation is actually really amazing as well. I feel like it really clings to the skin, but because it is labeled as a matte foundation, I like to go in with a little bit of extra hydration with that hydrating primer. Normally with my skincare routine, I will just stick it with my moisturizer and serums and all of that, but because I will be using more powders on top of this just to keep it in place, I wanted to make sure that I had an extra layer of hydration. To even out my skin tone, I'm going to go in with a pretty light concealer. This one's by Shiseido. This is their Synchro Skin Concealer. I have the shade here 202, and I'm just going to add this in areas that I want to brighten up. So that's going to be under the eyes, the nose, forehead, and I'm going to do the chin as well, even though no one's really going to see that. I just want to make sure that my chin and jaw match my neck. And to do that, when I blend, I kind of blend out like this so that when I look off to the side, people think my foundation actually matches my neck when it doesn't. This concealer is actually pretty good as well. I feel like I don't get a whole bunch of creasing. It's not crease proof, but also it adds a lot of coverage to the skin. It's a really reliable concealer, but I think that if I were to say, what's my foolproof concealer, it's definitely going to be Tarte Shape Tape. I actually just finished that up, I think, yesterday. So yeah, Tarte Shape Tape is still my number one. Shiseido is definitely top 5. Now that the majority of that concealer is blended in, you can see that my face is starting to look a little bit more natural, like myself, kind of like I woke up like this. And that's just because I took a lot of the darkness from that foundation away. And then I'm going to take this over my eyelid as an eye base. This step is definitely optional, but it's recommended, especially if you are wearing a mask. I'm going to double up my powders. So I have here a translucent loose powder, and then I have here my actual foundation powder just to bring back some of the color into my skin. So this one here is the Juno Blur, and this one is the Airbrush version. They do have 2 versions on their website. You can use the code ThatSoYin if you want to save. I have all of my affiliate links down below. It's always encouraged, never forced. And I really like applying all of my loose powders and my pressed powders with this brush lately. This one's by Sigma. It's their flat angled kabuki. And I'm gonna go ahead and press it in the powder, dust off some of the excess. And I'm gonna start by going on my jawline all the way up, just because this is where your mask is going to be touching. So you want all of the powder to be mostly focused near the jawline. So I kind of just go really fast just to prevent any fallout. I'm gonna take a little bit more and kind of work in sections here. And then I'm just going to take a little bit under the eye because we applied our concealer. And then after that, I'm going to go in with my Shiseido Pressed Powder Foundation in the shade Linen. And I'm just going to go over that just a very little bit, not a whole bunch, like a very light layer, just to bring back some of my warmth. And then with whatever is left on the brush, I will take that on the forehead. As of late, a lot of people have been asking me for a brow routine, but as you guys know, the products that I use don't really change. I feel like since the beginning of my channel, I've always used my Anastasia Dip Brow. Here and there, I will use a brow pencil, but I always go back to Dip Brow. I just think it's easier. And then as you guys know, for this year, my Project Pan for my eyebrow product is my Wet n Wild Brow Kit in the shade Ash Brown. Now this one kind of broke, the cap is off. So what I have been doing, I don't want the powders to dry out, so I actually underline my brows with the Dip Brow because I don't have a lot of product in here. It's actually just on the sides and on the cap. It's really empty, and then I will just fill in the rest of my brow with the brow powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what I do. So this brush that I have here is by Makeup Revolution. It's their Pro 160. And I will literally just go on the sides of my dip brow where I have the product. I really don't have a lot in here. And I'm literally going to just go under and underline my brow, just like that. Pretty simple. I'm gonna take that on the other side. Just underline the brow. And then on this eyebrow, I have a little bit of a bald spot, so I will actually fill that in with Dip Brow just to make the process a little bit easier. And it's usually just at the tail, and then I'll just do the same on the other side because why not? And that's all I do for Dip Brow as of lately. Normally I would take it in my whole brow, but because I don't want my brow powder to dry out, I've just been using that as the majority to fill in my brows. This brush that I'm using is by Real Techniques. It's literally called their brow brush. And I will take that brow powder, start it at the end of my brow, and then work my way in. And that's just going to give me the ombre brow that I always have. Normally I would go in and outline my brows, but I feel like my brows look fine. I don't really need any extra definition. I actually got a brand new palette in the mail in PR from LA Colors. They sent me their Luxe palette. I'm shook that they even wanted to send me this, but I'm really excited. There's a lot of grungy tones in here, and I feel like I can get a pretty solid look out of here. There's still a film on top I wanted to show you guys, but I think I wanted to do, I don't know, maybe like a dark brown smoky eye and then maybe play in this olive shade up here into the eye look. Something cute. Now because this palette does not have any shade names, I'm going to just describe the colors that I'm using just because I'm in a rush. So I'm going to take the light cream shade and I'm going to go ahead and set my eyelid. It's going to help all of the mattes blend in effortlessly and easy. With a warm chestnut brown, I'm going to tap this into the crease before blending it. And this is just going to allow all of the pigment to just sit in that crease line. I dipped this brush into a light tan shade, and now I'm going to blend right on top of that warm chestnut shade. And this is just going to allow an easier blend to the eyes. These shadows are really soft, and I feel like these are a little promising. I think when I think of LA Colors, I think of the Dollar Tree. But that's just me being honest, you know. With my finger, I'm going to take that green and I'm going to apply this right over the front half of my eyelid. The shimmer is actually a little dry, but I mean, the pigment on the eyes is totally fine. It's just the texture. I thought it was going to be a little bit softer than this considering how soft the mattes were, but I mean, still pretty good. And right in this outer edge, I will be tapping in this dark burgundy shade. Oh, that's nice. And this is just going to add some depth and dimension to the look. And that's all that you really need for a complete eye look. Just 2 solid blending brushes and your fingers. I actually want this look to be a little bit more glam, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this single eyeshadow from Touch in Sol. It's part of their Metallist collection, and this one is in the shade number 2, Honey Champagne. This is so beautiful. If you like Super Shock shadows but you're just underwhelmed, you're going to love this. So I'm going to go ahead, tap my finger in just a little bit, and I'm going to tap this on my eyes. And this will literally give you like the prettiest, soft, shimmery, glittery look. And it's going to make it look like you tried harder than you actually did. And that's why I love this so much. I'm going to do a quick black line with my ShopMissA Artista eyeliner. And this is just going to make the eyes look a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more like jasmine. And these Artista eyeliners are one of my favorite. If you love a brush tip liner that has color, variety, you'll really love this. Liner is on. We're not gonna fix it. This eye is not my favorite right now, but that's fine, that's okay. I'm gonna go right into some mascara. This is from Fenty Beauty. It's their full frontal. I'm only gonna do my top lashes while I work on my bottom eyeshadow. A quick hack for me to work really fast on my lower lash line is to use a brown eyeliner, and I'm going to take that in my waterline, but then also my lash line here, and it's going to make all of the shadows that you apply down there blend easier, and it's also going to add that extra reassurance in case you cry, or in case, I don't know, the day just happens to go on longer than you thought. I'm going to take that chestnut shade and blend right on that lash line where we apply that eyeliner. Do you guys even eat chestnuts? That's a really weird question. I always ate chestnuts as a kid, but I realized no one, like a lot of people don't eat chestnuts. Crazy. I'm going to take a white shimmer in the palette and pop that into my inner corner just to make my look a little bit more bright and awake. I'm gonna just move on into my face because I feel like I can get through that really fast. I'm of course using my Milk Chocolate Soleil from Too Faced. I want to use this up so bad because I don't have a lot of product left in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to the cheeks, the forehead, as well as the nose. And the nose is honestly just, I don't know, just to give me something there because I don't contour it. I just need a little color. And speaking of color, I'm going to take my ShopMissA Perfect Blush in the shade Auburn. And this is really dark, but I'm only taking a very little bit. And when you do use a little bit, it actually just looks like a natural flush of color instead of something unnatural. And I know everyone and their mother has tried the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter, but I just got it recently. And you know what? It's pretty. It really is pretty. It's gorgeous. I didn't expect it to be as shiny as it is for what it looks like. It looks like a regular face powder in all honesty. And when I used it for the first time the other day, I was so surprised because it actually reflects light. It's good. It's really good. It's really inexpensive. Essence is probably one of my favorite drugstore brands as far as like powders is concerned. They do need to work on their complexion, but we'll see in 2021. I am so good on time, so I'm gonna actually apply some fake lashes. This brand is actually owned by one of my good friends, Anna. Her username on Instagram is Beauty with Anna. And she has her own brand called West Coast Lash Bar. Her lashes are so pretty. I purchased these styles myself. This one is the style Sacramento, and I don't know what it is about Sacramento, but it just looks so full and wispy, and all of her lashes are so wispy, and that's totally my thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply these, and I'm gonna show you guys real quick on how I apply fake lashes that are straight from the packaging. So I take the lash and I measure how much I want to cut off at the end. So it seems I only need to cut off one notch, and that's perfectly fine. I love it when I don't have to cut too much off because it's like, okay, I'm wasting my money the more I cut off. But I'm gonna go ahead and measure it one more time after I cut off that one notch. And that's pretty. I really like that. And I have never applied false lashes easier in the past month than with this hack here. So I take my Velour Lash and Go, which is an eyeliner and lash adhesive, and I will actually take it and line the brand new eyelash with this eyeliner. And then I will go into my lash line. Just do a thin line, that's all you really need. One thin line just like that, nothing crazy. And then you want to go ahead and apply the lash right there. And it's so crazy because it literally stays on all day, even with really hard tugging. So I kind of just adjust it during the time when the liner is wet, because you want to work with it at that time, because once it dries it kind of just settles and it turns matte. Now that the lashes are on, I'm going to go in with my favorite nude lipstick combo at the moment. I have been loving a liquid lip recently, and the one that I've been wearing quite frequently has been by ColourPop, and it's their I Love Sade collaboration lip bundle. It's not really a bundle, you can buy these separately, but they're both in collaboration with I Love Sade or Karen, and I have the curvy lippy pencil as well as Sueño de Coco matte liquid lipstick. In general, this lippy pencil is my personal favorite. The color, the way it glides on the lips, so good. It just does it all. And this matte lipstick, bulletproof. You can eat as much as you want. It's actually not too drying, which is very surprising. And it just doesn't need any reapplication throughout the day. And just like that, everyone, we are completed with this video. Hope you guys all really enjoy. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm really excited to see my grandma right now. I haven't seen her in a little bit, and you know what? I miss her. I miss Grandma Yin. Make sure you guys leave happy birthday Grandma Yin in the comments below so that I could show her later. And as always, I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Peace out, Girl Scouts.